Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Franchise Your Success. And we have Coach Dan in the house. Thank you so much, Dan, for coming with us today.
Oh, I'm glad to be here, especially about what we're going to talk about today.
That's right. And we are super excited for this topic today because it's the impact of franchising in the world. So, little question for you guys in the audience. Are you where you expected to be? Are you in control of all your time? Do you feel excited every single time that you go to work? If the answer for those questions was a no, well, let me tell you, our coach Dan today is going to show you an amazing way that you can make all of these questions into a yes by franchising. So I feel like franchising itself as an investment tool, it has so many possibilities and it has done so much good in the world. And especially right now, because we literally just passed super huge crisis with the pandemic and everything. But franchises were still up and running and we still had jobs. How did franchises make it so people could still be working for them?
Yeah, that's kind of a scary point to maybe we need to think about is how do they fare? Let me go back to a few years ago, back even in 2008 and 2009, we had I had actually had a Massage Envy Master franchise with a partner, and we had actually three of them. In 2008 and 2009, you saw what happened. I mean, the real estate went crazy and just prices started dropping, and because they had accelerated for so many years and just through the roof, and then all of a sudden it just dropped. And everybody, not a lot, well, of course, not everybody, but a lot of people were experiencing difficult financial hardships at that time. But what we were seeing in our Massage Envy is those numbers every month continue to decline, month after month, year after year, even during those hard times. And so I guess, we attribute that to a lot of things that people still wanted to have those comforts. They still wanted to be able to get away from the world and be able to experience some downtime and maybe get rid of some of that anxiety. So a lot of those services still flourish. Then we look back in the pandemic era and we see what happened there. A lot of the food franchises, I just talked to one the other day. He said that 2021 was his best year ever during the pandemic. So it's like, okay, this is great. Even a lot of the other franchises were flourishing and they were growing and we were still moving forward because of the way that franchise system works and the structure of it works is there is a brand name usually that people rely upon and they know what they're going to get. And so they want that comfort, especially during difficult times. They want to be comforted and want to be able to go to places where they know what they're going to get. So franchising usually has been a very powerful thing during downtimes, especially these past few years. Even during war times, we're still seeing continued growth. We're still seeing people jump into franchise. We're still seeing people wanting to move forward with their businesses. So that's a good thing that for our country.
That's right. And I feel like just the fact that it allows so many people to have a source of income by working for a franchise, even if they don't own a franchise, it still generates so many opportunities for people out there. And it also, after hearing you about like how franchises have been growing, even like with all of these crazy things happening around the world, I would say the franchises is crisis-proof type of investment. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would call it more crisis or recession or pandemic resistant. I don't know if there's any such thing as proof that's absolutely certain not to fail during those particular times, but it's certainly resistant. So the impact of any downtimes is lessened usually in the franchise world and in certain industries, depending on what those industries are, during the time of challenges. But the impact that this has made on the world, I mean, you look at the countries now that build this up. I mean, you look at some, besides the United States, it's very popular in other countries. I mean, Japan is huge, Brazil is huge, and all the other countries that have some significant population, and they're experiencing their brand name in their own way. A lot of times the United States brings in their brand, but these countries have their own brands. And sometimes those brands are coming from their country here to the United States too, which is fun to see. And I've participated in that. So that's fun. But it's made an impact throughout the world. Just in my little world, the franchisees that I've worked with over the years and brought into the system through me or my team now are doing billions of dollars per year in sales and have achieved some tremendous success and set their families up for the rest of their lives with what they've done. They've also created tens of thousands of jobs because every time you open up a franchise, especially if it's a brick and mortar, you're typically going to have employees or someone that's working there. So you're providing jobs for the economy. And it's just a more stable way of weathering some of the storm that you get through there. So it's been great to see. And how it impacts the world also is important, but more importantly, probably for you who are listening out there, is how would it impact you individually? How is it going to make you have more freedom and even more income, more time? Well, I can tell you, for me and my family, it's just been a wonderful program and tool over the years. Every single year that I've been into franchise world, it has exceeded my expectations. And sure, there's down times when your expectations maybe not met, but overall, it's exceeded them, and it's allowed less of a fluctuation in our incomes and the things that we're doing because of the world that we're in. In fact, I have 5 children, and I'm grateful for those 5 children and the legacy that they have. And I'm looking at one of my friends who actually was in franchising and business for many years. I think he was 83, who passed away just recently. And what an impact he made on his children. They remember this forever. He ended up with 72 grandchildren.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's like, whoa, unbelievable. I know I'll never get to that point, but still the impact that it made for him was wonderful. Even me right now with just 21 grandchildren. I love that. But it's wonderful to be able to see them. But here's the thing that franchising has done. It's allowed us as a family, even though my children now have children, we get to be together. Like next week, we're all going to Disneyland for a few days.
Oh, wow.
And spending the week there and in those parks and just creating memories and having a good time. I can hardly wait to see those little grandchildren, the joy on those faces as they go through the rides and they have a good time and have that memory created forever. And we've done that many, many times where that's one of the things we enjoy is going to those parks, amusement parks, and creating those memories. And franchising has allowed us to have that freedom and do those things. And I can take my whole family and give them that as a gift. In fact, that's what their gift was over the holidays, is giving that gift of being together and building that memory together. That's what franchising has done for me, and my family has made a huge impact on me and my family. And it can make the same impact on you and your family as you start building those cash flows and those investments and things that are, I think, unsurpassed in any of the business world.
That's right. And I feel like it also allows future generations to have a brighter future, like to see that there's a different option, even if they were like, you know what, just going through the same system that society usually gives us, which is you got to go to college, then you got to graduate, then you got to keep working and invest on your 401k, and then just like leave the world by and die. And that's it. I feel like with franchising, it also allowed your kids and your grandkids to see, well, if going to college doesn't resonate with you, there's other ways that you can actually become successful and financially free, which is by investing in a franchise. And I feel like it also allows them to think that there's more options instead of like staying closed in the little box that society has given us. And I feel like it also empowers the people that are around you. One of the things that I've seen is that with franchises, it also allows the owners of a franchise to contribute to the community and some charities. Do you have any experiences on?
Oh,
on
yeah,
that?
that's been a phenomenal thing to do for me personally. I'll just think of some of my examples, but not only contribute to the community, but the power of franchising, that what it's done for other people is it's just amazed me. But in order to contribute, there's been things over the years that I've done, and more recently, it has allowed me to contribute to some of the coaching things that I do, because I coach high school track and field teams. So I've been able to donate to some of their causes. and being able to be an influencer, or at least part of what they're trying to do, and help these athletes succeed and donate to those on a small scale. And that certainly helps the community and those families grow in their participation with these things. But the other thing is, because of the experience I've had, I got the opportunity to volunteer at an employment center here where I live, near where I live. And I would go to that employment center every Thursday morning, and I would have a chance to see people come in the door that were looking for a job. And so I volunteered my time to help them find a job. But you know what happened with a lot of those people is that they couldn't wait for a job. They came in there needing something now. They needed to make some money now. And so what I created is a system to help them generate income now. And this, in fact, I gave a couple of those books away yesterday. I'm always giving them. I wrote the book about it because it has over 100 different ways to actually create income now, because a lot of people need that now. And so as I give these books out, people see that and they start creating these cash flows that allows them now to come back and even invest in bigger things like franchising. So I've seen that happen. So by volunteering my time and actually giving my books away and helping people through that system, I found that instead of helping people find a job, I was helping people find a business or start a business. So I'd coach them to how to start a business now. And of course, now many of these people are involved with us in the franchise business after they started their own business from scratch. And they came in desperate, needing to make money now. We helped them through that. And that's all part of some of our services that we offer too through my team. But it's there's at any particular level, no matter what the income, no matter how much, what you're earning, no matter what position you're in, we're able to help. We were helping people that just got out of prison coming in, and they needed to make some income now. We were helping people who had been displaced from their country and they had to come here to the United States, where we were helping them get established here in the United States, and they needed money. Doctors could not practice medicine here, so we had to figure out how to get them some income very quickly. So those are the types of things that we do on the lower level, which usually ends up getting into a higher level of franchising, is when we've made that impact with them. And so I've donated my time there, and it's been very rewarding to see people come in and figure out what they want to do for the rest of their lives. But the other thing is about franchising is there are over, as far as I can determine and count, I think I have about almost 3,900 franchise companies that we've looked into over the past several years on my database. And I know there's well over 4,000 different franchise opportunities or companies out there in the United States alone. So there's almost any type of business that you can imagine out there already probably franchised, that already has a system you can tap into and not have to make those same mistakes. So you can actually end up living your passion by finding that right franchise that fits you the best. And it's usually out there.
That's right. And I feel like it also allows people to not only see that, oh, yeah, you just need to get a job and that's it, but it also allows them and empowers them to think, maybe I can be an entrepreneur. I can actually do this. Because like all of those people that you were mentioning in your that you were helping on the work center.
Employment center.
Yeah, the employment center. They never thought that they could become an entrepreneur, but now they can.
Yeah.
Franchise.
I mean, I had attorneys, that had been corporate counsel and for different companies, very successful, but then they couldn't find a job in corporate counsel. So I helped them start their own practice and get how to get clients. There's our B2B business. Right. So they're signing up business clients, and they get this consulting coming in, and it really has worked beautifully for them. But if there's someone out there, and I know there's a lot of you that have been told, like you said, go to school, get the education, and go out and get a good job. That's what I was told, but it never fit for me. It never was the right thing for me, and it isn't for a lot of people. But there's ways of doing that, and I'm not discouraging anyone from going to a higher level of education and getting that good education. I think if you can do that, that's important. But sometimes you can delay that, like I did. I didn't graduate, and so I wanted to, but I never did. So I decided to delay it and jump into my business, and then, or actually with the bank and with the corporate position, and then get into business, which I've done. And so it's worked very well for me. But what if you were to do this? How much does it cost for tuition and books and fees and all that? for a nice major university. If you really want to really get a good education, it's usually probably into the tens of thousands of dollars per year, right? Depending
Yeah.
on where you go.
Could
But
easily be 32,000 even.
yeah, so if there, you're by the time you're out of there, you might have just on tuition fees and books and other things like that, you might have invested $30, $40, $50,000. Well, guess what? If you can get the money for education to invest in that, you can probably get the money for a franchise too. So what would happen if you invested in a franchise instead? You started bringing in that cash flow over the next couple of years while you're still maybe working your job and getting that cash flow coming in. But now you have a business producing a great amount of money for you, and now you can start reinvesting. Now you have more options. You can go back to school if you want to. And in fact, that's what my son did. He graduated and did franchising while he was going to the university because he really wanted to graduate, and he's a smart kid, much smarter than what I was when I was that age. So he got his degree, and then he worked with us on franchising for a few years, and then he decided, you know what? Then that allowed him to establish some of his freedom, get the experience that he needed. But that allowed him to go out and get his master's degree and go into teaching. He wanted to be a teacher.
Oh,
So he went and did that, and with the idea that he would go into administration at some point. So he's living his dream, but franchising and working with us in that system and that program allowed him to do that. It allowed him a little bit later in life, in his early 30s, I believe, to actually get to where he wanted to be. Rather than, I see so many people going to school, getting their degree. I mean, a good friend of mine, he got his degree in mechanical engineering, but he never uses it.
oh wow.
He got into a whole nother field, and he had to learn that field from the outside, and now he does something different than what he went to school for. How many of us do that? A lot of people. So sometimes maybe we have it a little bit wrong. Maybe we should get out of high school, work for a bit, get that experience working, take some of that money and invest it, and then maybe go to the university later. That's an option. But certainly we all know we need our doctors and lawyers and psychologists and whatever, you name it, that have to go to school to get that to help us through some of our difficult situations that we might be in. So not saying that school is bad. I'm not saying the timing is off, but I'm just saying that's an option, like what I've done and what my son has done and others have done to get real life education in the world of business, and then go back and get your degree and whatever else you wanted. And then you know more what you want to be and become anyway at that point than we sometimes
That's
do
right.
when we're 19 years old.
That's right. And the amazing thing about franchising is that there's not an age for franchising. So whether you are about to retire or you are just starting college, you can always get into the world of franchising. And I feel like it's so amazing that it opens that many opportunities. And also another thing about franchising is that you truly don't do it alone. Like even during these crises that we've been experiencing through history, franchise owners, they were not alone. They always had the franchisor and their support. How is it possible that these franchisors are giving this support during the crises? How does that happen?
Well, that's the beauty of one of the reasons why franchises are so successful and you have such a high success rate, is because you have someone that's supporting you and holding you accountable. So if you're able to go to the university and you're able to listen to your professor, and once in a while you have to go get some support from them, but it's support on what they want you to do and how they want you to do it, and turn in your assignments and take your tests. Mm-hmm. With franchising is a little bit different. You're calling the shots. It's your own business, but you always have someone in the background. And it's not just the franchisor. Sometimes it's the franchisor who's going to support you, but sometimes it's another fellow franchisee, so that you've networked with, and you have a huge network of people with the other franchisees in the system, because when you're successful, they're all more successful. The idea is the rising tide lifts all the ships in the harbor. So as you're with these other people, you're lifting yourself, you're lifting others, they're lifting you. And you rely on other franchise partners and people in that system. Is absolutely phenomenal to be part of a group like that who has your best interest at heart all the time, because it's helpful to the entire brand. As everybody succeeds, the brand succeeds. And so why wouldn't you want to help your fellow franchisee over in another city to be successful too?
That's right. And I feel like, especially for people that are, after seeing all the crises and especially like just the pandemic and now seeing wars and stuff like that, it truly makes them feel more confident in investing into a franchise. Because for all of you guys that are thinking about, oh yeah, I should probably get a franchise, but now there's a war. We had pandemic before, now we have a war. What else are we gonna have?
Always going to have
Today's
something. There's
I
always
know.
going to be something.
That's right.
You know, like you say, are we going to wait? Oh, I'll wait till the pandemic's over, or I'll wait till the war's over, or I'll wait till whatever. I'll wait till this happens.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of attitude, will you ever do it? Chances are you won't.
That's
So right now is the best time, no matter what situation we're in. Now, in certain areas that you're in the middle of war, obviously you can't probably start in that area, but you can certainly go to an area where you're not affected. And we're blessed in most of the areas where their freedom is around, that we have that opportunity to be free and to be able to do what we want and to design our own career and our own business future and create that freedom and that legacy. For the most of us, we have that opportunity to do that. So why not do it now? Why wait? Because every day, every week, and every month that we wait, we're missing out on that income and that opportunity to grow. So not only with a franchise are you producing income, but you're also producing growth personally, which allows you to be a better person and have that better opportunity and to grow personally. So for me, why wait? Right now is the best time.
That's right. And you couldn't have said it better. So for all of you guys in the audience that are listening to us, feel confident that yes, franchising is a really good investment. And no matter what happens in the world, you can still feel confident that you will always have the support and help of a team. Your future franchisors, the future franchisees that you're going to meet. And if you also need some help, you can count on Coach Dan and his amazing team for helping you with all your franchise questions. Thank you so much again, Dan, for all your
Thank you,
support on
Marjorie.
that.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you to all our audience. See you on the next episode.